And they said, hey, there's something weird in that area that likes to hang out in that area where the woods are by that pasture. Like there's a big field, then there's this big mass of trees, and then there's a big pasture behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like this trail. And he said that his uncle and him were riding horses one day. They're going out, and his little sister. And they hear this rustling, and the horses start to kind of rear and jerk. And uncle's trying to get him to calm down. And they see this creature, the way he only described it. He said, dude, it was weird. It was like kind of like how Gollum moved on all fours, but it was pale, had pink eyes. And it was like the way that the eyes would blink, it was like they would go from the bottom to the top.
That's
like it would
disgusting.
go up. And he saw it up close. And the horse reared and almost bucked him off. And his uncle pulled out, his rifle and was taking shots at this thing. And this thing just jumped and crawled up a tree the other side real fast, very spider-like. One of the things he said he remembers noticing was the legs that there were like these, the heel. And I've heard this a couple times, but not a whole lot. And it was recent. Every time I've heard of it, it's been something recent. They had like this spike on the heel that was kind of like digging into the tree when it ran up the tree. And there were like these 3 toes that he saw in the front of the foot. And he just observed one of the feet like pretty closely. And it had these really long claws that looked like they were at least 5 fingers, but maybe only 4. Like a thumb and 3 fingers, but he couldn't remember for sure. He goes, I couldn't be for sure because it happened so fast. And he said the thing was up the tree like lightning. And he goes, and my uncle was like, y'all get back. Let's turn around. And so we got our horses. The horses didn't need much persuading. They turned and they were running back toward the house. And his uncle stayed out there firing at this thing. And then he came back to the house. And they were freaked out. They stabled the horses, had to get them to calm down, give them some treats, whatever. Uncle tells him, hey man, I'd seen this thing before. I'm sorry. I didn't know if I'd really seen what I had seen. So he didn't lead them into harm's way because he didn't really believe in it. And even after he saw it the first time, he really didn't believe it. And so Daryl was like, if my uncle knew that thing was out there, he goes, I would be kind of ticked off as I got older. I thought about it, he goes, but he didn't, even though he had seen it before, he didn't believe it.